Guys, today we'll be making the sweetest, crunchy yet soft chin chin ever. And I'm going to be showing you different ways to cut your chin chin too. So before we dive in, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you. So guys, the very first thing we're going to do is to prepare all our ingredients for this sweet chin chin. Now the first ingredient on our list is our flour. Now, the very first thing you have to do with your flour is to make sure that you sift it very well with a fine mesh sieve. Very fine mesh sieve. So you sift it properly. Sometimes you can even sift for like 3 times. But for this recipe, I only sifted once because we need to do that. Now, after doing this, we're going to measure it out. And we're going to be using 500 grams for this recipe. Now look at the things I got out from this flour, even though this is a new bag of flour. So don't you ever assume that you don't need to sift your flour because it's new and you just opened it. No. The next thing we're going to do is to measure our flour. Yeah, I'm using 500 grams of flour, but if you don't have a measuring scale, I'm going to leave the measurements in cups too, so you can always make your chin chin, because we must make this chin chin. No, this period we must make it. If you really want to know how to take your measurements, please do well to check my video before this one. I explained everything you need to know, but here we're going to use 500 grams. I explained it well, how to use your measuring scale and also how to use your cups, so please do well to check the video. Thank you. So I'm trying to measure out 500 grams of flour here, and then when we get it, because this can be tricky, so you need that 500 gram, not 501, not 499. We need our 500 grams of flour, and you must get it. So that's what I'm trying to do here, you see. So please be patient. Then the next thing we're going to do is to measure our sugar. Here we're going to use 140 grams of sugar. But if you think the sugar is going to be much for you, you can reduce it by 20 grams. Then that means you'll be using 120 grams of sugar, not 140. But 140 is perfect, so I don't think you should do any reduction. And look at what I showed you guys, lump of sugar. Now, if you're measuring and you see a lump of sugar, please do well to like break them and make them like this, or you just omit it because it's going to cause more harm than good. Now the next one we're going to measure is our margarine. Guys, in this recipe, the only thing you're allowed to reduce should be the sugar if you really want to reduce, but I don't see the reason to do so. But you know, some people now don't really like sugar, but every other ingredient, please let it be so you can get the perfect chin chin. So we'll be using 100 grams of margarine. Also, we'll use 2 tablespoons of powdered milk, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. The ingredient on our list is the egg. We're using just 1 egg for this recipe, and we're going to be using milk for this recipe. Any liquid milk of your choice, but if you don't have liquid milk, you can always mix your powdered milk and water to form your liquid milk. So I'm going to write the recipe for that on this side, so you don't need to worry about it. Now the next thing we're going to put inside our milk is our vanilla flavor. We're going to put our vanilla flavor inside and mix it very well and keep it aside. Now we're done with all the ingredients. Let's make our yummy chin chin. Now into a bowl, we'll put in all our dry ingredients. We're going to first start with our flour. Put in our flour. Make sure you put in everything from that place because it's 500 grams, guys. And make sure you always sift enough flour. Even after the 500 grams, make sure you have enough flour waiting for you too, because we need it. Now into this bowl, still put in our sugar, put in our powdered milk, our nutmeg, our baking powder. Then we're going to mix this very, very well. Make sure that all of them are mixed equally inside this our bowl. So when we're done mixing, we'll put in our margarine and then we put in our egg, because we'll mix them together. Very easy, guys, right? So you mix this very, very well. Mix it very, very well. Now, after mixing this very well, this is how it's going to look like. You create a hole in the middle of your dry ingredients And now we're going to be introducing the liquid ingredients. That's our milk and our vanilla. So when you introduce this in, you mix it very well. Look at my hands, guys. You mix this very, very well because we want everything to come together. So once you mix, you keep mixing, and you can see I'm still mixing here. You keep mixing, take your time, use this hand movement. If you don't know how to mix it properly, just use this hand movement. Use your two hands and keep mixing until they all come together. Don't think they won't come together because it's looking like this. No. Just keep mixing, and all the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients will come together and form your dough. That's what we call a dough. So I'm still mixing, so you will see that you have to keep mixing. Don't think you're not doing it well. No. So far you got the right ingredients and everything. It's going to take a while. So look at me still mixing. I changed my hand movement, so you notice what I'm doing. I'm bringing it all in, and then I use my fist to hit it. So that's what you do. Then when you arrive to this, then it is perfect. Now we've gotten this one. We're going to I'm going to show you how it's going to look at how it is. If this is what you get, then it's fine. I'm going to form a ball here, and I'm going to use my hand and press it down. You see, it didn't come up quickly. It didn't even come up at all, so it's perfect. This is it. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys get what I'm saying. So you can mix for like 5 minutes or more until you get this. This is what we're looking for. It doesn't need to be fine or anything. Now you get your chopping board or your workstation, your table, anything at all you have for this chin-chin. Doesn't need to be fancy. So on your working table, make sure it's a clean working table. You then have to knead. Look at what I'm doing. You take it all out and bring it back in. You take it all out, bring it back in. Like this, take it out, bring it in. You can turn it again, take it out, bring it in. That's how to knead your chin-chin dough. Take it out, bring it in. Take it out, bring it in. This shouldn't take more like highest 3 to 5 minutes. You are done taking it out, bringing it in, because if you do this for too long, it's going to be a problem. So 3 to 5 minutes, you are good to go. If it is too sticky, too well to spray like flour on your work table while doing this, but not too much. We need to be careful because we don't want the consistency that we have to change. Now my working table, like this chopping board, is small, so I divided it into 4, so I'll be able to roll it out. So before you roll it out, make sure you spray flour on your work table or anything you're using, and then on top of your dough for easy roll out. I'm going to be using this rolling pin. It's called a rolling pin. They have the wooden one and then the candlestick one. But if you don't have this, don't worry, you will still make that chin-chin. I'm telling you, get a bottle, maybe a beer bottle, like bottle for beers, Heineken or Star or anything like that. Make sure you wash it well, remove the label on the bottle, and then use it as a rolling pin, because this chin-chin, we must make it. Nothing's going to stop us. So you roll this out very well. We want a very thin rolled out dough. You will notice that most times it's always the edges that are not well rolled out. So I'm going to show you how to make sure that you roll out the edges. If you're rolling like so, from the middle you go to the sides, from the middle you go to the sides. Don't put much pressure on the middle part. If you've gotten this consistency, this is what we're looking for. If you've gotten this, just roll out the sides well. So you don't put much pressure on the middle part again, but put much pressure on the sides in order for it to be the same level with the middle part, because we want it to be thin. you know we put baking powder into this, so it's going to still rise while frying. So once we've gotten this is what we're looking for. It doesn't need to be perfect. The edges don't need to be perfect, guys. It's okay, because we don't even need the edges now. So you're going to get your cutter. You get your cutter. I'm using this cutter here, but if you don't have this cutter, you will still make that chin chin. Get you a knife, a small knife like this. It's perfect. So the first thing we're going to do is to cut out the sides, because we want our chin chin's shape to be very fine. If you notice your chin chin is getting sticky or anything, just sprinkle flour on top and make sure your cutter has flour on top on it, and even your rolling pin has flour on it. Now we're going to cut this horizontally and vertically, because we want those square chin chin. That's the shape we're going for. So after cutting this, you cut it vertically too, and then you get it. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to use ruler and start measuring. No, just follow your instincts. But this is what we're looking for. This is okay. Just follow this video and follow your instincts. That's fine. You see, my lines are not straight too. So after doing this, you have to take out the sides that are tiny, because that's just waste of chin chin. I don't like wasting food. So you have to just remove those sides and then put it back into the dough you've not rolled out or yet. So see, I sprinkle flour on top of it too, for it to be easy for me to remove from the chopping board and put it on our tray. Now on this tray, you have to still sprinkle flour on top of the tray, because we don't want our chin chin to be sticky on anything at all. So after sprinkle flour on the tray, you pour in your chin chin there, and then you can also sprinkle flour on top of the chin chin, and then you move to the next dough. So this is going to be a very quick one. I'm just going to show you a different shape and also how to use your knife to cut. You sprinkle flour on top of it. Make sure you always sprinkle flour. Use your rolling pin and roll it out like so. And then after rolling out, because you know this knife is not like your cutter, so you need to hold your dough very well to avoid any shifting and all of that. So we're going to cut this tinier than the last one. You can see the lines. We'll just cut it like so all around, and you see how I'm trying to hold it because there is friction, but you can always use more flour. Like I added more flour for that. Now we're going to do diagonal. So do diagonal. You have to be careful, because we want it to be very long. So we'll use this diagonal method. Cut it straight like so. You be careful while doing this, and then all those tiny ones, you remove them and put them in the other dough you want to roll out, because frying those ones are just waste of ingredients and everything. So you sprinkle in flour and then pour it into your pan like so. Now you're going to use a deep frying pan to fry this. It has to be deep frying. Then you put your hand over it if it's hot enough, and you sprinkle flour inside, and if it just sizzles like this, then it's ready to fry. But me now, you know, we all have our doubts, so you're like me and you have doubts, just pour in little chin chin inside, and when it comes up to the oil, then it's ready like this one. So you can now start pouring in your chin chin. Use your frying spoon and put in the chin chin so you won't splash yourself like so. Put it in. Once you put in your chin chin, please give it time, like 2 minutes before you start turning, when it's already kind of hard, so it won't break inside the oil. So you need to do this like this, because it will still be fragile when it's still new. So this is the color we're looking for, something like this, light brown, because it always darkens even when you bring it out from the fire. It still darkens up, so you need to be careful. Once you get this, it's perfect. Now after putting it, if you remove this from the oil and put it in your sieve, then leave it there for some time. Then if you're doing the next frying, pour out the ones from the sieve into a tray like so. So you won't have excess oil in or on your chin chin. And then this is it. very easy, and I tried my best to make this video to be very, very explanatory. So please do well to try this. Tell me what you think. If you like it, if you love the recipe, it would encourage me to do more. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Now, once you leave this on the tray for like 30 minutes or so, then you can pour this into a jar or a container, a well-tight container. Pour this in and then cover it tightly. And your chin chin is ready. So please do well to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, and bye-bye.